You'll also may be pleased to hear, maybe not, because you're creative people, that there's no death by PowerPoint in this, and I'm just going to talk to you about finance, which is a critical issue for all of us. I mean, when Uday said he wanted me to speak about finance after lunch, I thought that's a real graveyard slot. But just think about finance as the money for your business, and it suddenly starts to sound a lot more interesting. I am chairman of a small seed fund in the northeast of England. We have £20 million. We're based in the northeast in Newcastle. It's a regional fund, so we can only invest in companies in the northeast of England. Right, so that's a disappointment to many of you. But it does mean that I know quite a lot about the requirements, what we look for in companies that we are going to put investment in. I'm also on the board of a much larger VC firm in London, GRP, Venture Capital. And probably very importantly from your point of view, I'm involved in a number of companies from the other side of the table where we're actually doing startups. So one of the companies, for example, I'm chairman of an electric vehicle recharging business, the largest company in the UK. We've just completed, last week in fact, an investment round. So I understand what it's like to try and raise money. I also know what it's like to try to evaluate companies that are looking for money. And it is very useful to be able to see things from both sides of the table. Now, let me disappoint you. First of all, I have not brought along samples. I did not come along with a wheelbarrow of cash. Secondly, I haven't got a magic wand that will guarantee you will get funding for your business. But I can tell you about quite a lot of things that if you don't get right, they will guarantee you won't get funding for your business. Now let me ask the question, how many of you run your own business? Right, yeah, good, that's what I'd like to see. How many of you are looking for money? Or might be looking for money in the near mid-term future? Yes, okay. A lot of you. Right, so this is quite interesting and relevant. One of the things we all want our business to do is grow. It's very rare that I get a CEO turn up my office and say, next year we're planning to shrink 10%. That would be quite a surprise. And to grow, we normally need money, additional money into the business. It is possible to bootstrap a firm. I know companies that have done it, but it's tough. And it increases your probability of failure many times. So for most of us, we need what I call external funding, some source of money in addition to those funds that we've got available ourselves to finance and enable us to grow our business. So where can we get that money? Well, there's sort of three main sources, four really, because I think Uday mentioned earlier, the most important source of money for your business comes from your customers. Yes, don't ever forget that. But beyond that, to get going, we often need money to start. There's grant money, used to exist. Can you remember that? There are probably still a small number of sources of grant funding at the moment, but they're not many. TSB is probably one of the best sources at the moment. There are some, you might find charities, you might get some money from regional growth funds. Grant funding is good. I'd always encourage you to use it if you can get it, but watch out, it's never totally for free. It will take a lot of your time and effort to apply for the money and to monitor it and to report back on it. So it's never totally free. Get it when you can, but don't spend all your life chasing around after it. There's loan financing, right? Used to be the major source of funding for businesses for the last 150 years in this country. These days, the only way you'll get money out of a bank is if you go in with a gun and a face mask on. So I would advise you to look for other ways of getting money, and we end up talking about investment finance. And this is really where, other than small amounts of grant funding, unless you get a TSB grant, which can be quite big, most of us will be looking for investment financing to fund our businesses. Again, every business has different requirements. You know, the amount of money you need, the products that you're developing or services, the sector you're working in, the region where your company is based, the number of people you've got, etc. So there's no guaranteed